What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We get how this backup running back became an NFL legend. Let's check this out.
So often a player enters
King Henry
redefines what dominance looks like, even among the world's best athletes. Over the last decade, no one has embodied that more than Derrick.
And I saw a post on IG that Derrick Henry might be the only player to ever crack the 10,000 yard mark, like in the NFL to this day, bro. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't think any other running back will ever crack 10K.
He has been bulldozing
because he's getting closer. I think he's at like with 9,700 or something.
With his unparalleled power and stamina. Now on his second team, the King continues to deliver jaw-dropping performances well into his 9th season.
Facts.
Before we dive into what makes him unstoppable today, let's rewind and see how we.
And a nigga that big should not be moving that fast, bro.
Now I've been looking to find the best
6'3", 250. Okay, but it's a paid promotion, ain't it? Yep, I already knew it, bro. Not gonna fool me, gang. Not gonna fool me. Gotta skip past that.
Oh, he's so big. Gets the first down. He's just a monster. And there he goes. Man-child.
Man-child is crazy.
He's gone. I mean, there are times where I'll catch a glimpse of him and be like, man, it's a big freaking dude, yeah.
As the lead back for Yulee High School in Florida, Henry averaged nearly 9 yards per carry over his career.
Damn.
12,000 rushing yards and 153 touchdowns in 4 years. It's no wonder that a guy who makes NFL defenses look so small was so dominant against actual kids.
You break the rushing record in Florida, you go for 2,500, 2,500, 2,500, 4,000. I looked at the carries as well, though. Your coach should be in jail. They gave him the football
462 times is crazy.
62 times.
I had the ball like 57 times in one game.
Yeah, I know.
I knew where the ball was going pre-snap. After games, like my coach would be looking crazy. He'd be like, "You all right? Your body feel good? You feel good?" I'm like, "Yeah, coach, I'm straight." Not thinking how crazy it is. As the older I get, I'm like, I carry the ball 57.
That shit is diabolical, bro. Coach just didn't give a fuck.
Incredible how much he was able to accomplish. Going into the 2013 recruiting class, Henry was listed as 12th overall in the country and #1 at his position, and eventually enrolled at the University.
Roll Tide, yes sir.
Go to Bama first.
Come on.
Florida fan growing up, and like whenever I came out of high school, it was just like once Urban left. And then whenever I was coming out of high school, Urban had left because they started recruiting me for a little bit. He ended up leaving, and then Muschamp took over. Yeah. And Dan Quinn was recruiting me, and the whole recruit process was smooth. I was rocking with Dan Quinn. He was cool as hell, and I was visiting Florida a lot. And Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator at the time too. But I don't know. And then I was visiting Georgia, and I was visiting Bama, and I was visiting Tennessee. And I don't know, it was just like, I don't know, it just ain't feel like the foundation was laid and it was like set, and it just ain't feel consistent.
At the time, Alabama was in the midst of a generational college football dynasty, coming off back-to-back national championships.
Look
in
at,
2011.
bro, this is my first time seeing Nick Saban this damn happy, bro. Like, look at this big ass smile, bro. Like, you can barely get a cackle out of this nigga nowadays.
2011 and 2012.
Bro, be serious.
But for someone with such high pedigree in Derrick Henry, his college career didn't go exactly as you would expect. As a true freshman, Henry didn't get to see much of the workload, with sophomore TJ Yeldon as the lead back.
That's how Nick Saban worked, bro. He never really played freshman like that. You know what I'm saying? He went off experience and talent, bro.
Yards and 14 touchdowns for the Tide. Despite his size at 19 years old, Henry was only given 35 carries in his first year, which he more than took advantage of, averaging 10.9 yards per attempt.
Oh my gosh.
He also took his lone reception on the year for a 61 touchdown, because of course he did. Unfortunately though, the season didn't quite finish like Alabama had hoped, ending on a 35-45 loss to number 13 Oklahoma in the show.
Losing to Oklahoma was crazy.
2014 though saw Henry start to take over more of the backfield. Still, another down year, and Alabama failed to achieve its previous success, once again losing in the Sugar Bowl, this time getting torched by Ezekiel Elliott and the Ohio State Buckeyes to end their season. With the conclusion of the 2014 season, TJ Yeldon officially declared for the NFL draft and was selected by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2nd round. Finally, it was officially Derrick Henry's backfield for the taking, and he did not disappoint. Jay Coker was the starting quarterback for Bama without any previously starting experience, so the game plan was abundantly clear. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. Alabama took that strategy to heart, giving the ball to their lead back over 400 times on the campaign. The Tide rode
Wow.
meteoric success to an incredible season. After a Week 3 loss to Mississippi, Alabama wouldn't drop another game for the remainder of the campaign. Some of Henry's best performances along the way included his 254-yard game against Texas A&M, his 271-yard game against Auburn, and of course, his 158 yards and 3 touchdowns to close out the national championship game against Clemson.
Yes,
After
sir.
2 years of being on the bench, Derrick Henry brought Saban and Alabama back to the mountaintop. And the only question that remained is why didn't they get the ball to him sooner?
And then my third year, I was like, you know what? This is the year I'm starting. If we're gonna win, it's put it all on me. And and what happened?
How many yards you get that
Took
year?
home the Heisman, home the Doak Walker.
What'd the bank account look
Took
like?
home the Walter Camp.
What'd the bank account look like?
home
Really, a phone
Max-
number.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
And I took home a ring.
Who in your family got jobs?
Say what?
Who in your family got
cars,
jobs?
houses.
All those trophies got jobs. They went on this shelf.
Those trophies
Bruh.
thrown out.
Had their own.
Hey, that is crazy. And you only started 1 year.
Only started 1 year.
Henry declared for the draft
Wow.
following his junior year. Shockingly, after recording the 6th highest single-season rushing total of any collegiate player ever, Derrick Henry wasn't even selected in the first round.
Crazy,
the Tennessee
right?
Titans ultimately selected Henry with the 45th overall pick in the NFL draft.
And like, bro, and running backs were more valuable back then too than they are now.
Henry, running back, Alabama.
A choice that would permanently alter the course of the franchise. And look, of course, just like you're thinking too, Derrick Henry was probably the immediate starter once he got to Tennessee, right? Actually, he wasn't. The Titans had just acquired DeMarco Murray. In the
Oh,
offseason. He
yeah,
experienced
okay,
a
okay,
career
I forgot,
experience in Tennessee after a down season in Philly. Murray was the true workhorse, amassing over 350 handoffs and targets, which culminated into a 1,600-yard, 12-touchdown
Damn.
Pro Bowl campaign alongside rookie quarterback Marcus
Marcus
Mariota.
Mariota.
He still did get some work, but nothing near what you'd expect during his last season at Bama, taking only 110 handoff for a respectable 490 yards and 5 end zone trips of his own. And I mean, honestly, even in Mike Mularkey's just kind of smash mouth game plan that he had, they still couldn't find a way to get Derrick Henry the ball more. Oddly enough, though, his 2017 progression followed similarly to what he did in college as well. Although Murray was still the lead back, he and Henry were given a much more even share of the workload, about 180 carries each. And Murray's production dropped off significantly. Still, Henry's role was far from ideal. He led the team with just 744 rushing yards, but showed some great flashes in a 131-yard game against the Indianapolis
Damn,
Colts,
bro.
a 109-yard.
Nah, bro, this chunk up right here. Oh my gosh, bro, he should not be able to be doing this shit at this size.
Colts and a
It is
109
crazy.
versus the Houston Texans. The Titans went 9-7 for the
My boy
second
Taylor
year in a row under
Lewan.
Mularkey and lost a brutal playoff game to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Ultimately, franchise owner Amy Adams Strunk decided to move on from Mularkey and look for a different head coach, eventually landing on
Mike Vrabel.
The three-time Super Bowl champion linebacker and Houston Texans defensive coordinator is the new man in charge.
In a crucial offseason for the franchise, the Titans let DeMarco Murray walk. Just like at Alabama, year 3 was when Derrick Henry finally earned the entirety of the backfield. But
Crazy.
this time, Derrick Henry would not dominate. Everything seemed to be building up to this moment, but when the season started, Henry wasn't very impressive at all. In fact, he was quite bad. Through week 12 of the 2018 season, Henry was averaging an underwhelming 3.7 yards per carry on 128 attempts. It wasn't quite clear why exactly he was struggling. The offense as a whole wasn't producing at a high level, but given everything we've seen from Henry so far, it doesn't really make sense. Many people thought that maybe his size wouldn't translate to the NFL, allowing him to push defenders around like he could so easily in high school and college. So, I mean, many people honestly thought that maybe 6'3" truly was too big for a running back. The Tennessee Titans Week 13 matchup, though, at home came against the division rival Jaguars on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, I already
It
know
was a
he
great
popped off.
opportunity for the
Yup,
6-6
I remember
Titans
this
to show the
game.
world
Didn't he have a 99-yard touchdown or
but
some shit?
Nobody could have possibly expected what transpired. Unfortunately for Henry, he didn't even get the start. Dion Lewis, the team's scat back.
But that boy Dion Lewis was a dog for the Patriots. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all.
Early on in the team's first drive of the day, the Titans methodically moved down the field, and when nearing the red zone, started to give Henry some work. The decision paid off, and Henry plowed his way down to the 5-yard line on his first carry of the game before punching it in for 6 on the very next play. It was a great start for 22, but certainly nothing out of the ordinary. After the opening possession, neither team could capitalize on offense. The Jags quickly punted, the Titans threw an interception, and then Tennessee committed a safety on the ensuing Jags punt. A 14-play response by the Jags marched all the way down to the Titans' 1-yard line before being stuffed on the goal line and setting the Titans up on the brink of disaster. Most people were concerned about giving up a second safety on the day, but little did they know what would follow would go down as one of the most beloved plays in franchise history.
At the 1 and looking for a little breathing room.
Crazy.
And plenty more. Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds.
I love this camera view right here.
99 yards. The longest run in franchise history.
Derrick Henry tiptoed down the edge of the field for the remaining 10 yards, and the crowd absolutely erupted. After not even getting the start, Derrick Henry had just completed the second ever 99-yard rushing touchdown in NFL history. The craziest part too is it didn't stop there. The Titans were doing anything they could to get the ball to Derrick Henry for the remainder of the game. Even
all it takes is a little bit of time.
The Wildcat, and he simply could not be stopped. The King had officially arrived, and his gift to the Titans was 238 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
An absolute thrashing of the Jaguars.
Again, against the Jags, bro. Like, he hates the Jags and the Bills, bro. Like, every time he played them, he just goes absolutely ballistic ape shit, bro. Like, this nigga must really hate them for real.
The very next game, Henry had a 170-yard performance, answering any doubts that probably didn't exist after his breakout game. Though the Titans' 9-7 record wasn't good enough to earn a playoff spot, Derrick Henry had emerged as a star that was going to lead them to victory. His 1,000-yard 2018 campaign was respectable, but he would make that number look trivial over the next few seasons. In 2019, Henry carried the ball 303 times for 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns, each of which led the league, and it was good enough.
Then he had 2,000 yards next season, right?
And a second-team All-Pro selection. That year, Henry carried the Titans all the way to the AFC Championship game before they fell short against the eventual Super Bowl champion Chiefs. And I mean, statistically speaking, the King only got better in 2020. Henry became one of only 8 players to break 2,000 yards rushing in a single season, the first since Adrian Peterson in 2012. That campaign was good enough to earn Henry the Offensive Player of the Year award, which went alongside his first team All-Pro nod and another Pro Bowl selection. Henry was on pace to break all-time records in 2021 before a foot injury ultimately cut his season short, but afterwards, he still logged 2 more highly successful seasons in Tennessee.
Damn, took off Miles Garrett.
On the Baltimore Ravens,
Good helmet.
were already
Yes, sir.
before adding one of the greatest running backs of all time.
Yeah,
Even
bro.
though he
Hey,
had a tough
hey, this is what's gonna be the difference maker in us getting to the Super Bowl this year and winning it, bro. Lamar has never had a prolific running back right next to him in the backfield. Of course, he's had, you know what I'm saying, pretty good running backs like J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, you know what I'm saying, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell. But none of them had the fear factor like Derrick Henry has, bro. You know what I'm saying? You see how deadly that Lamar and Derrick Henry combo has been so far, bro. This nigga, over the last 2 games, this nigga Derrick Henry has over 300 yards, bro. Damn near 400 yards rushing. Like, that shit is crazy. And then we got to take into account that we have another great running back in Keaton Mitchell, who is still dealing with the torn ACL, who should be back in a few weeks. And then Justice Hill is also balling out. So once Keaton Mitchell comes back, bro, oh yeah, nobody's stopping this rushing game, bro. Like 100%. You already got to deal with Lamar, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and then once Keaton Mitchell come back, oh yeah, yeah, just go ahead and give us the Lombardi Trophy at this point.
Their Week 3 win,
I'm telling you right now,
looked very promising, largely in part to a monster game from.
Like, and I feel like the only reason that Lamar hasn't had a great success in the postseason because he's always had to carry our team every single season in the playoffs, bro. Like, deadass, he's had some great performances. Don't get it twisted, bro. You know what I'm saying? Especially in 2019 when he threw for over 300 yards. You know what I'm saying? Last season he had great success, you know what I'm saying? Except for, you know what I'm saying, the AFC Championship game where we lost to the Chiefs. I think he threw what, 2 picks or whatever like that. But bro still plays good in the playoffs. He just doesn't have a great record, you know what I'm saying? But now that we have Derrick Henry, oh yeah, that's going to take a lot of the stress and weight off Lamar Jackson, bro.
To be in great form once again, breaking down the Cowboys defense and repeatedly getting to the second level to the tune of 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. If Henry could do this every week, we might be talking about the Ravens as potential Super Bowl favorites. If he is to keep this pace and play all 17 games, Henry would be on track to rack up 1,600 more rushing yards this season, which would be almost unheard of for a running back in year 9. Currently, Henry sits at 26 all-time in career rushing touchdowns with 97, and a strong showing this year could easily see him moving into the top 20 and passing guys like Tim Brown, Barry Sanders, and even potentially Tony Gonzalez. Henry also sits at 36 all-time in rushing as well, but is a lock to pass 10,000 yards this season. And with a solid campaign, he will be nearing the top 20 as well, passing the likes of Marshawn Lynch, Tiki Barber, and fellow Titan Eddie George. The most important thing, however, is that he is showing no signs of slowing down.
Facts.
It's been long known that Henry has a very extreme
Damn, look at that block, bro.
His body to take hits how only he can. But now in year 9, when most running backs would be actively decaying, he's continuing to thrive. The question is, how long can he actually keep?
And the fact that we got this nigga for 2 years, this year and next year, bro, I swear we better win back-to-back Super Bowls.
A couple more seasons.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
In the top 20, but a few more productive seasons, and he could be eyeing the top 10. Regardless, though, he's already been one of the most dominant players at his position over the last decade and has broken countless records. Long story short, Derrick Henry belongs in the NFL Hall of Fame now that he's paired with Lamar Jackson in the Ravens' dynamic rushing attack, and he might just get a ring this year to solidify his case.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos y'all want me to react to. Without further ado, I'm out. Gang!